going to do the work. They're not going to put in the effort.
My work was reading it. My work was
exact complaint was that they're just going to go as far as reading it and not do it. Wasn't that your
No, my complaint was that people don't even read it. Not that they won't do it, but they don't even read it.
You're one step above.
Yes.
You actually took 5 minutes to read.
See, the thing is, if I read about it, I've determined that I wouldn't want to do it.
Do the things, right?
Exactly.
You're not approaching that level of Lee yet, right?
No. What was the word that I had difficult pronunciating? Not poisson. It was poisson. Poisson. Poisson.
It's the name of a French scientist.
It means fish. That's French.
Yeah, it looks like poison, right?
Poisson with 2 S's.
So Joanna.
Yeah, John is as much of a hypocrite as everybody else on this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep. I agree.
How do I say a baby seal pushed me yesterday in French?
Look at my PTR. I'm now Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is that Andrew Tate?
I'm trying to see if somebody's gonna notice.
I don't know. I think I look better than Andrew Tate, actually. But maybe because Andrew Tate is emblazoned on everybody's psyche for some reason. Women. One girl at a bar a couple months ago, she's like, "Have you ever met Nick Fuentes?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "He's over there." And I'm like, "That's Nick Fuentes?" I'm like, "That's not Nick Fuentes." She's like, "That's Nick Fuentes." And I really want to talk to him. I was like, "Well, do you want me to go introduce you to your imaginary fake Nick Fuentes?" She's like, No, I'm so nervous. And I was like, "That's not Nick Fuentes. Look up the picture and look at that guy." And she's like, "Oh, you're right. That isn't Nick Fuentes." But that was like the 1 in a million girls who actually, was like sexually intrigued by Nick
You had a
Fuentes.
segment of Ben. I'll tell you why later.
What was he saying?
You meeting Nick Fuentes to me is not like out of this realm. Like, you guys seem to like occupy a similar, like, I don't know, corner of the internet. Maybe.
No, he's got his
You have
own.
like the same incel audience.
I don't know if my audience is really all incel. I do have people texting me from the political campaigns that I've run. And just this morning, somebody was texting me about censorship and how they appreciate me like calling it out. But I did have over 100 people vote for me in the congressional election as a write-in candidate. I got 1% of the vote, or less than 1% of the vote. But, Rabbanu Shalom, you have to build your tribe somehow, some way. Your audience. Then it's a question of how do you activate your audience? And the whole thing really comes down to money, because you can buy audiences on Meta and on Google. And, that's the advantage of having money. And if you are a business that has, annual profits or lack thereof, you still have a quarterly and annual advertising budget. And as a former Google account manager who managed over $30 million a year in spend on Google ads, on YouTube ads, there's a lot of money in advertising communication. And the craziest thing about advertising communication is, I heard somebody talking about this the other day on YouTube, like from the 60s, McLuhan or something. He was like, in the future, the advertisements will only confirm your bias and make you feel good about your prior purchasing decision. It's not actually about getting you to buy new product. It's about confirming your previous purchase. And also just being the product itself, where the advertisement is the product and the brand. And it's all just about like neurolinguistic programming and dopamine creation. So all communication is indeed hypnosis. And if just turn your television on and watch The Price is Right, or Let's Make a Deal, and you can actually see how advertisement communication is one of the most dominant forms of communication in our societal herd population. And I have successfully done advertising myself, for the publishing industry. And Joanna and I are writing in a book, and I hope, that we can do a summer book tour.
I already have 3 books published on Kindle, Amazon. This will be 4th.
But we're going to do a book on meditation, neurolinguistic programming, and dialectic therapy.
There you go.
That's called reading a book. It's not revolutionary. It's not new. But as someone who read on Clubhouse today, I am in the top 1%. And that's a fact. Very few people have read anything of any value or substance on Clubhouse today. And tomorrow, even less. So we are living in a society where only less than 1% of the population even picks up a book and regularly reads something that is outside of their push-down communication paradigm.
It's weird that you put so much value on just reading random bullshit, right? Like that's somehow valuable. Like you just pick up a book and read it. That's actually valuable.
It's valuable in comparison to listening to woke, liberal, elitist homosexuals on this app. Let's put it that way. Or elite black homosexual intellectual Democrats. You see what I'm saying? Hello? Well, see, it's just my opinion. It's not a fact what I'm saying. I mean, you know the difference between opinions and facts, right?
No, I never learned that in school.
See, the secret about learning what the differences between facts and opinions are is that there's actually no such thing as a fact. There's only opinions. Hello?
Anyway, nice to see you, T. I haven't seen you in a while.
Good to see you, Joanna.
Thank you. I love you. And isn't it like good to read, even if it's not like anything important? The act of reading, isn't that like good for you, for your brain cells? It's like doing a crossword puzzle.
Well, I think that, you know, we can quantify these things better, right? Like reading a physics book is probably going to be of slightly higher intellectual value than reading a romance novel, right? That's the point that I'm making there.
I got it. It's better than reading smut. How often do you get to use the word smut?
Not often enough, you know? It's not often enough.
Thank you. That's funny. I think it's an outdated word. You have to be over 40 to even have heard of it. Maybe.
I just heard of it recently with these like smut romance novels.
Yeah. Oh, you heard of it? Now you heard it again.
To me, it's a brand new word, like probably this year.
That's funny. Sometimes you hear something and then you hear it again. How's the little kitten doing? Let me see his picture.
He's doing amazing.
So, CM&T, I got a question for you. Do you think you are what you say you are, or do you think you are what you do?
Aristotle answered that already.
Yeah, I think you are what you do. Like, for example, I'm a programmer. And the reason that I say that is I can point you at my GitHub, right?
That is indeed Aristotle's answer. You are what you do.
You're a lot of other things too, like you're a writer, and I don't know what the website would be
considered,
but yeah, I guess you're a writer of the story that's on a website. So it's Horizon City is interactive with the reader.
I'm sorry, I have so many websites at this point. Yes, this week I published 14 white papers on post-language semantics, and gosh, I mean the topics were really fucking deep, like really, really like deep topics. I'm really excited about the work that's being done. So I was thinking like, oh, are you talking about Nefarious Plan? Because that's where I've been publishing recently.
I published a white paper and a policy paper.
It was completely white. It was a blank page.
No, I used AI, Meta. And the first comment was, next time you use AI to generate a policy paper, you should probably remove the AI software you used and not say that you wrote it. And my response to that is, you didn't address anything and any of the topics in the paper. And so what's interesting is when you run in politics, you are attacked personally 100% of the time, and you are never actually spoken to or communicated with about what your opinions are or what topics or policies or content you've even created. It's always ad hominem. And so ad hominem hypnosis or ad hominem filibustering or filibustering hypnosis, I think that's what the biggest problem is see, Regal here has open discussion. That means you could talk about anything. But the problem with focus and concentration is it's a filibuster against priorities. And that's my biggest complaint against the elite liberal, homosexual, Democrat liberals, is that it's always focus manipulation, concentration manipulation. And that's what I really hate the most, is because part of intelligence is prioritization. Wouldn't you agree? Hello?
I lost the question. Wouldn't I agree to what? It's very lengthy.
So here's a paper you won't read, John.
Okay.
The 17th, wait, it was 17 that I published, actually. I just posted it in the chat here, and
Okay.
I'm betting you won't read this.
I am.
You're going to read it,
I
Joanna?
don't know. Let me click on it. Let me see. Oh. Okay. After Babel, we speak in vectors. That's it?
That's the one, and it's a very sophisticated paper. What it effectively argues is that I have developed a universal language for programming, such that all languages can be translated to and from it. And what this does is this allows us to port any language to any other language through my universal language.
He went further than the dream. Around 1679, he proposed characteristic numbers like this. Feels good on the brain. It's tickling my brain, T.
I mean, he did something really cool, right? He said, assign a prime to each primitive concept, right? And since there's an infinite number of primes, there must be an infinite number of concepts that you can address, right? And then let those composite concepts be the products of the primes of the primitives' numbers, and let S's P hold exactly when the number of S is divisible by the number of P. And the entailment becomes divisibility. It's the right shape. It's a primitive by a computed value. And that's, identity is the primitive by computed value, and that's what my entire software pipeline runs on. Is it runs on content identities that close over the values and compress them down into a bounded space where you can address them as vectors. And so all programming languages